Welcome back, everyone. Today I have another video. This time I wanted to tackle down on the pre-release set. As I done very well before, set 1 I got first, I think. No, second, I'm sorry. And then set 2 I won 2 of the smoker, first place. And then I won another smoker a second place. And the tournaments over here were like 60 people. So I know exactly what pretty much you need to do to win the tournaments. And I wanted to share some of that knowledge with you all. The first thing, let's define the best leaders that I think could be for this next format that is coming up. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about is Kid. I think still probably the best one because of its like non-reliability on anything. It's just transform basically any card in your hand into a haster dual attack. Like any card can just become a 7k attacker basically. And that's very important for this kind of format where there's not too much defense. They like if you go 7-7, they have to take it. So they better have a blocker or something like that. Because like we're kind of low on counters and kind of low on like everything else. So this leader is still gonna be pretty decent. Although there are minusing cards that is gonna minus the leader itself. So it's gonna be much easier to defend. So for that reason, something to keep in mind for like the leader itself. Zoro is still very vanilla effect where like it just pumps everything else, so it makes it easier for you to just like push for damage. Very decent, of course. And then everything else, Sanji is a notable mention because there's a lot of vanillas in the set, and you're gonna play a lot of vanillas in your deck. And his ability is gonna come clutch some of the times, depending on the cards that you pull. It might be a good leader to play. Crocodile is gonna be a very decent choice if you have a lot of extra cards, and this set has a lot of extra cards. So you can either choose Crocodile or Ace based on what you pull. But Ace doesn't have like it just makes everything you are able to combo with everything. But I feel like drawing cards is also very powerful. So either or could be like very good if you pull a lot of extra cards in your pool. Then you have Kuro, which is another Captain Kid. But since this is the set where you're gonna get a lot of East Blue cards, it might be worth it to play him if you pull him and you pull a lot of East Blue cards that you can make him work with. But probably it's still better to play Captain Kid, but I mean, it's an option, right, that you have. Lucy is very vanilla. I mean, it's very basic. It's another Kid-like effect. So they're sharing the same effect basically. But this one, what it does is basically it says that you don't have blockers. The opponent cannot activate blockers at the end of the game. And that's very important. That's probably even better than Kid. You just need to have 2 cards in hand, which you usually do when you're trying to go for game. And it's very powerful because if you put your opponent at 1 life, or at 0 life for that matter, you're going to be able to use all the energy, attack twice basically. And if they don't have a blocker, they're going to have to defend at 15-15. Which is going to be very difficult for the opponent at that point. So if you get the opponent to 0 life, he's going to be really, really good. So this is one of the picks that I would, like if I pull this guy, I would actually consider playing him like a lot, like super a lot. These are two other picks that I would consider a lot too because they're generic enough where like if you pull the right cards, they're going to work very well. This one especially, if you pull a 10-drop Big Mom, I would consider playing this one like immediately, because if you pull both, of course, because this one is just will get you there because you're gonna be healing a lot, and healing in this format is gonna be even better because it's basically gonna stop 2 attacks: the attack that you take for the life and the one that you get for free out of the like you get an extra card that you can combo with. So it is a very decent effect. And if you pull a 10-drop Big Mom, and you pull this one as well, it's going to be really, like, Big Mom is going to be able to activate, you're going to be able to burn the opponent, and you're going to have a beater there, like, it's going to win you the game. So, a very good card if you get to pull both Big Mom and this card, right? And then we have Karakuri as another basic leader that just attacks for 7 every turn. And that's very good in this format. Attacking for 7 is just basically take a damage or let something die, because there is not that many 2k counters, and there's not that many like ways to stop this. Also, being able to look at your opponent's life in this format, which is gonna be a lot of like heavy triggers in the life, is gonna be also very good. So it's another good option if you pull it. you can also play him, and he's gonna be like a decent option to play the format. Let's go see some of the next topics that I wanted to talk about this. All right, now let's talk about blockers and 2K counters. Basically, if you see any of these cards, add them to your deck. They're too important. Usually, they're gonna save you the game, or they're gonna give you they're gonna attack you for basically 6K every time, because it's difficult to combo in this format. At least from previous formats, that's the experience that it's been like for me. So 6 is gonna be a good number. So if you see a lot of 2Ks, just add them to the deck. It doesn't matter how many you get. And if you see a lot of blockers, add them to the deck, because they're gonna be useful, even if they have counter or if they don't have any counter. You're gonna be able to protect your cards and your leader with those cards. It is very important to add as many as you can pull from your pool, basically. All right, and for the commons and uncommons, these are the more generic ones that I think you can find. Searchers are going to be good depending on the type of cards that you open. If you have a lot of ways to trigger this one, a lot of East Blue or a lot of Whitebeard Pirates, these are going to be really good. If not, don't add them to the deck. If you don't have above at least 10 cards that you can search with this one, it's like the bare minimum that you have to do to be able to hit with this. I would do more, maybe at least have like 20 or at least 15. But yeah, at least 15 so they can work at least efficiently. This one is just a good tempo play that might be able to give you a game or two. This guy, because the decks are 40 cards, you might be able to play some cards that you mill yourself or the likes, and you'll be able to trigger his ability very easily for 1 energy. Very good. Then we have Boogie. It's just a good card that is gonna have some resiliency, but it's not high in the priority. Same with this one. It's just a card that you're gonna be able to banish the opponent with, so you always get that ability. So it's actually a very decent card. Vanillas are gonna be very good, especially this one. It's gonna be the highest priority one. This is one of the 5 cost 7, and it's probably the only one in the set for what I saw. And this is gonna be the best vanilla to add to your deck, and it's gonna win you games for sure. It's the best common that you can open for sure. And into the extra cards, this one is gonna be really good, especially in Ace. This one has to be on Ace only. So if you pull Ace and you open this card, it's very good. Like these 2 cards, if you open Ace, I would consider playing Ace just because of these 2 cards. Because this one at least it deals with the dual attack on all the leaders that are going to be played basically for that reason, because they have dual attack. This card definitely just handles that leader very well. So if you pull this card and you pull like 2 or 3 and you're able to play a couple of those in your deck, I would definitely consider playing Ace just because of this card. Fire Doll is just good in any deck. These are just removal cards, good in any deck, so they're really decent. This one is also a high priority card that you can pick if you're playing in commons and uncommons. As it's a 5K counter, so it's very easy to defend with this one. And it also heals your life in a top spot. So definitely one of the ones that you want to pick and play definitely. Sanji's Pilaf, another card that you want to play in this deck, because card advantage is not going to be easy to find. And this one is just going to be an easy draw 2 cards. Either are alive or just playing it for 3. Very good. Air Door is another one that you want to play, and if you have a lot of C-Pills in your deck, this is another one like Nami or Izo, but it's probably easier to pull it off if you have a lot of CP9s. You're probably going to get to the number, like at least 15, as I was saying, to be able to pull this one off. Okay, and to the SCRs and the rare cards that you can pull that are going to be very reliable for you. We have the ones that are early game, like these ones that are going to give you a lot of value. Like Usopp is going to be a rusher. Like if you play it in Zoro, it's going to be very, very good. Jean is going to be like very heavy control. If you like, it's going to be good in any scenario. Perospero, better in a deck where you have a lot of Big Mom Pirates, but it's still decent enough to where you can play it out of life. You have to gauge whether you have enough cards that you can counter with in your deck as to warrant the card without like having the Big Mom Pirates. But if you have a lot of Big Mom Pirates, you just an auto include in your deck basically. These 2 are just very good because you get to play them out of life. They have counter power and you get to play them for free, and they have good abilities on their own. So definitely the 2 that you want to play. Teach is also another good card because you can attack with something, sacrifice it, draw a card, get the value, and attack for 8k basically, and especially if you're playing with Zoro. Or if you're playing any other leader, it's still a plus 1k, but it's 7k base, and you can add some energy, and it's going to be very, very good. Sorry, disappear. The Marco mark is going to be amazing in any stage, especially if you have some red cards that you can pitch to him. Zev is going to be good because it's going to bounce back something to the hand, and it's going to give you cycle power if you can. So it's going to be a really good card overall. Kaku is especially good if you have a lot of CP9s. This card is going to be really, really good because it's going to remove something for free. We have Sogeking, which is an auto include if you put this one, because it's just going to bounce something back, cycle a little bit your hand, and it's going to give you a 6k attackers for free. Very, very good. Krieg, amazing. This is going to KO 2 cards, especially the vanilla. So it's one of the best bombs in this format. And it has double strike, so they have to block it every time pretty much. So it's going to be a really important card. If you pull one of these ones, you are going to have a good tournament. Monkey D. Luffy, another one that is decent, only for the stats. It's just a 6-7, same as Lucy. Like, they get better if you have more of those cards in your deck. Like, if you have a 5k to pitch, a 5 cost to pitch to the Luffy, it's going to be much better. And at that point, if you have this one, you can play some of the purple cards. So you can pitch to this guy. And then you have a Rush 7k, which is very decent. Same with Lucy. Here, if you have a lot of CP9s in your graveyard, you're going to be able to use his ability. So these two, on their own, they're good because they're 6 mana 7ks. But they get much better with like some other synergies if you have them. We have Karakuri. Just a good card all around. You can heal yourself. Probably what you're going to end up using it the most. Or you can remove a problematic card on the opponent's side of the field, which is also very good. Isho is going to be another bomb. If they don't play around it, which is really hard to know if your opponent has it or not, right? So you're not going to really play around this card. So you're going to got super hard by this card. And then it's just a win condition on its own. One of the best bombs that you can have. As well with the Lin. I would still play it even if you don't have Karakuri or a Big Mom to get the full ability. Just being at a 12k that just every turn is gonna demand a blocker, and if you don't have it, you're just gonna lose to this card. It could also be that you play it in like if you have a lot of ways to remove the board, so that you can force the blockers. It's still gonna be very good. But it's going to be best if you pull a Karakuri or a Big Mom with her. Gungam Jet Gatlin is going to be decent. Just a decent card that you can top out and then use still a 3k counter that you can do with. These two are removal spells that are going to be very good in any deck that you play. So I would advise to play these two as well because they're good rares that you can pull. Alright, and so back into some tips and tricks for the pre-release. The main thing that you should keep in mind is knowing your deck as soon as you build it. Understand how many 2k counters you have, how many blockers you have. Those are the most important things to understand so you can have a better late game. So if you know, and of course on any opening hand, just count those cards because that's basically your defense. And in this format where you're gonna have a lot of like maybe dual attack with Kid or with Lucy or whatever any of the other ones, and they're gonna try to pressure you double strike or anything like that, you have to be cognizant of what you need to combo early on or what you don't need to, like you need to protect, because also if you have a lot of like 4k counters that you can actually defend at the end of the game, then you can also decide to maybe take a life early on or not. Very difficult to maneuver because you also want to take some life so you can protect your battle cards. But it's a balance that you have to find based on the cards that you pull. So it's important to understand your deck, basically. Understand what are your win conditions, what are you trying to play for, and just play for that, right? Again, any of these leaders I think could do very well in the format depending on what you pull. The most important thing to understand is analyzing your cards and choose the best leader for those cards. whether it is Kid, whether it is Zoro, or whether it is any of the other leaders. Based on the bombs and everything that you pull, you should be able to make a better cohesion depth. And from there, it's just about playing the game correctly and tight. It's just everything else is just basic things that we all know and we should know by now. Attacking for 6 is a very good number, as 2K counters are in like perspective from the last set. First, they are rare for the most part, and they're difficult to pull. So decks are not gonna have too many 2K counters, and attacking for 6 is just very good. You're gonna be able to connect a lot. So another reason to play Zoro for that reason, right? So there's just different ways that you can do this. This is just the basic concept that I wanted to give up to everyone. With that being said, thank you all for watching and have a good day.